super soul, Paramatma, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead sitting as the witness, sitting as Anumantacha Drishtacha. He's not only the Drashta, the witness, but he's also the Anumanta. He's the sanctioner. He gives the final permission. So, a individual soul cannot really have proprietorship on the body without the permission, the blessings, and the guiding presence of the super soul. So there are two spiritual entities inside every material body. The individual soul who really wants to learn how to drive it, and the super soul. Super soul, Paramatma, is Krishna, and the individual soul is all of us. And we have our own little cars, we have our own little bodies. But we need the guidance of the super soul. The Vaishnava Acharyas, in their commentaries on the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, explain that even before Brahma is born from the lotus navel of Sri Garbhodakshai Vishnu, he first accepts the whole material energy, the Mahat Tattva, as his body. That is the entire Mahat Tattva is the entire material, the entire material mass is the Mahat Tattva. And then Mahat Tattva is supplied by Lord Vishnu. And then the secondary creation is done by Lord Brahma. The ingredients, material ingredients, earth, water, fire, air, ether, all this is supplied first by Lord Vishnu. He is the first creator. The secondary creator who uses these ingredients supplied by Lord Vishnu and then creates the 14 planetary systems is Lord Brahma. Thus, Brahma is the Jiva embodied by the universe. The whole Mahat Tattva is given to Lord Brahma, and then he's tasked with the service of creating a beautiful universe, creating the 8.4 million species, creating their DNA, creating their qualities. But the raw material, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego, and also the three modes of material nature are supplied by Lord Vishnu. Therefore, it is said, Karana Gunasangasya Sad Asad Yoni Janmasu. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says different species exist as a combination of different degrees of the three modes of material nature. Thus, Brahma is the Jiva embodied by the universe, and Vishnu is the Paramatma who joins him. So, within this Vishwarup, within this material universe, Lord Brahma is the Jiva, individual soul, and Lord Garbhodakshai Vishnu is the Paramatma of the Brahmanda of the universe. Just like in this body, there is the individual soul, Jiva, and there is the Paramatma, Krishna. Similarly, in the body called the Brahmanda, this material universe, there is an individual soul called Lord Brahma, and there is the super soul called Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Brahma must organize the specific manifestations of creation, but he cannot begin to do so until Lord Vishnu expands himself again into the subtle energy of action, which is the Sutra Tattva or original vital air, the Prana, and also into the creative energy of consciousness, Buddhi Tattva. Sutra Tattva, the vital air Pran, and the Buddhi Tattva, the creative energy of consciousness. And this Lord Vishnu does in the form of Kshirodakshai Vishnu, where he enters into every atom. Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. How the Supreme Lord Garbhodakshaya Vishnu in the next Purusha incarnation of Kshirodakshaya Vishnu makes this entire dull matter come alive by entering into each and every atom, each and every molecule, and is present everywhere in this universe as the Paramatma. And then, with the help of matter, earth, water, fire, air, ether, 8.4 million species are created. These are different bodies with different consciousness, different grades of mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. However, the Paramatma, the super soul in the heart of every human being, every animal, every bird, every aquatic, every microbe is Kshirodakshay Vishnu in the form of Paramatma. So there is the original Vishnu, who is Karanadakshay Vishnu, lying on the causal ocean, from whose exhalation multitudes of Brahmandas, universes, material universes come out. In each Brahmanda, the super soul enters as Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Garbhodakshay Vishnu gives birth on the lotus navel to Lord Brahma, who is a secondary creator. He creates the 14 planetary systems, 8.4 million species. But to make them come alive again, Garbhodakshay Vishnu expands himself as a third Purush incarnation called Kshirodakshay Vishnu and lives everywhere in the entire material universe, making everything work and come alive. And in every individual body of each of the 8.4 million species of life, Garbhodakshay Vishnu is present as Paramatma in the form of Kshirodakshay Vishnu. So this is the Karanadakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and Kshirodakshay Vishnu. And they all come from the original Narayan of Vaikuntha. And original Narayan of Vaikuntha is a manifestation of the Moola Sankarshan, the original Sankarshan, source of Lord Narayan. And Moola Sankarshan is an Amsha, is a part of Lord Balaram. And Lord Balaram comes from Krishna, who is the original Godhead. Sarva avatari Krishna Swayam Bhagavan Tahara Dvitiya Deha Shri Balaram, as Shri Chaitanya Charitamrit describes. So this is the wonderful material world created for all of us, individual souls, only so that we can develop our love for God, understand what is our position, what is our situation, and what is our real home. Who is our real father? As Lord Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Pita aham asya jagatam, Mata dhata pitamaha, Vedyam pavitram omkara, Rig sama yajur evacha. I am everyone's father, I am everyone's mother. And grandparents are especially very loving to the children. So Krishna says, Pitamaha, I am also your grandparent. Pitaham asya jagata mata dhata pitamaha. We have to understand our relationship with Krishna and not get enamored by this material world. In this connection, I am tempted to tell all of you a story that is one of my favorites. But we don't have time, so I will try my best to narrate it in 10 minutes. Yesterday, we celebrated the very auspicious occasion of the appearance of Shripad Ramanujacharya, one of the great Vaishnava preceptors who appeared in this world 1000 years ago. And I would like to narrate a small story from the life of his Gurudev, Shripad Yamunacharya. It is described that Sri Yamunacharya was a student in the ashram, in the school, Gurukul, of Sri Bhasyacharya in the area of Madurai, where the Pandya kings used to rule over 1000 years ago. And the main Pandit, learned scholar in the court of Sri Bhasyacharya, was a very proud, arrogant, egoistic scholar called Kolahal. And he liked to go around challenging other scholars, defeating them, and then demanding an annual penalty from them. For the rest of their life, they had to pay an annual penalty to him for having lost a debate. And if they did not pay the penalty or did not agree to the debate, then he would get the king of the Pandya dynasty to punish those scholars. So everybody had to debate, and he was the greatest scholar, so he would inevitably defeat them, and then for the rest of their life, they had to pay an annual penalty. It so happened that Sri Bhasyacharya, the spiritual master of Sri Pad Yamunacharya, had been defeated by the great scholar Kolahal. And because Bhasyacharya was not so affluent, he was a simple Brahmin teacher, he could not afford to pay the fine for 2 consecutive years. One day, when Sri Bhasyacharya was traveling somewhere to perform some puja, and Shripad Yamunacharya, who was only 12 years old at that time and had been in the ashram for 7 years. Yamunacharya was enrolled in the Gurukul of Sri Bhasyacharya at the age of 5, and now he's 12 years old. So he has been studying for 7 years under his Gurudev. He's alone in the monastery. He's doing cleaning, sweeping the floor. Everybody else has gone with the teacher, Sri Bhasyacharya, for some work to another town. And the soldiers of the king come and they demand from Yamunacharya, "Hey, where is your teacher, Bhasyacharya? 2 years he has not paid fine to the great Kolahal. Come on, give us the money." And he says, what money for what? Your teacher has been defeated by our teacher, Kolahal. So you better pay the money. Seeing their arrogance and how disrespectfully they were speaking about his Gurudev, Sri Yamunacharya told them, "Is there any other alternative?" Said, "Yes, the alternative is, you little boy, you challenge our teacher. And if you can defeat him, then your teacher will be absolved of the annual penalty that he has to keep paying." So Shri Yamunacharya said, "All right, so go and tell your teacher, Kolahal, that I challenge him. I, Yamunacharya, challenge him." His name was Yamuna. And it so happens that in Vrindavan today they are celebrating the appearance day of Shri Yamuna Devi. Shri Yamuna Rani ki jai. So his name was Yamuna, and later on he became Shripad Yamuna Acharya, that great teacher. So the message was conveyed, and a debate was organized. And the king said, "Okay, Yamuna, come, let's have the debate." Yamunacharya said, "I'm not coming like that. I am coming to debate with the great Kolahal. So send a palanquin for me. Send royal servants and soldiers to accompany me. I'm not coming like that." So the king smiled. He said, "Oh, this guy is really intelligent. He's 12 years old, but he's very smart. All right, fair enough. Let's send palanquin to carry him, some soldiers to bring him to the court for the debate." That was done. When he came, as he was coming, the king and the queen, they were amused that this 12-year-old boy who has been studying only 7 years is challenging the greatest Pandit who has defeated the topmost scholars in India. The queen said, "But my heart says, because he's so devoted, he's such a devotee of Lord Vishnu, he's going to win." The king says, "No way, no way. I have seen Kolahal debate with so many great Pandits, and he's always victorious." The queen says, "I feel he's going to win." The king says, "Let's have a bet." He says, "Yes." The queen says, "If the little Yamuna is defeated by your scholar Kolahal, then I will give up my position as the queen and I will become the maid servant of your maid servants." Oh, the king of the Pandya dynasty said, "Really? That's a very big wager. All right, I will try to match it. If Yamuna defeats my greatest Pandit, Kolahal, then I will give half of my kingdom to him as a gift." The queen says, "All right." And here comes 12-year-old Yamuna, and the proud, arrogant Kolahal is sitting there next to the king. Kolahal says, "All right, little Yamuna, you are very audacious. You came here and you have challenged me. Your guru, your teacher, was defeated by me years ago. And you have the audacity. You have not even finished your education. You haven't even graduated from your guru's ashram. And you have the audacity to challenge me. All right, let me ask you some questions." And Kolahal started asking very simple questions about Sanskrit grammar because it usually takes 12 years for a student to complete the study of Sanskrit grammar, and he had only been 7 years in school. So he started asking him very basic Sanskrit grammar questions. And Yamunacharya very easily answered them and said, "Can you ask me some more complex questions? This is too easy stuff." Okay, okay. Kolahal gets angry. Then he starts asking extremely difficult Sanskrit grammar questions that even Sanskrit scholars would find hard to answer. And Yamunacharya again very easily answers them. And then he says, Kolahal, I think you are deliberately asking me super easy questions because you are going by the size of my body. I'm only a 12-year-old boy, and looking at my size, you're asking me easy questions. But this logic is faulty because don't you know that Ashtavakra Muni had defeated the scholars in the court of Janak Maharaj when he was just a young boy? So don't go by my size. If you go by the size, then I should conclude that a water buffalo is more intelligent than you because she is bigger in size. Come on, ask me something difficult. When Yamunacharya challenged Kolahal like this, Kolahal was very agitated and angry. He said, okay, I'm done asking you questions. Now it's your turn. You little scholar, come on, ask me any question. All right, Kolahal, I will make three statements and I want you to break those statements or disprove those three statements that I make. Kolahal said, very well, go ahead. What is your first statement? I will disprove them. Little 12-year-old Yamuna, he looked at Kolahal and said, my first statement that you have to disprove is as follows. The mother of the great scholar Kolahal is a barren woman. Kolahal said, what? So you are asking me to prove that my mother is barren. My mother is childless. I cannot say anything to that. All right. Here is my second statement that I want you to disprove. My second statement is the king of the Pandya dynasty who sits on the throne is a very righteous, pious king. Come on, disprove this statement. Kolahal, what? In front of the king, you want me to prove that he is an impious man? I cannot do that. All right. So you accept defeat. So here is my third statement. My third statement is the venerable queen who sits on the left side of the king of the Pandya dynasty is a very chaste woman, just like Savitri. Come on, disprove this statement. This is ridiculous. You want me to say in front of the king and the queen that the queen is unchaste? This is outrageous. O king, please immediately give death punishment to this 12-year-old boy for treason, for insult. The king said, oh, wait, wait, wait. Let Yamuna respond to his own statements. Kolahal said, Yamuna, can you disprove those three statements yourself? Yamunacharya said, yes, I can. If you sit down and listen to me, sit down, sit down. My first statement was that, Kolahal, your mother is a barren woman, even though she gave birth to you. Based on Manu Samhita, which is a standard textbook for all of mankind, in Manu Samhita it is stated that a woman who has only one child is as good as barren. It's a statement in Manu Samhita. And you happen to be the only child of your mother. Therefore, according to Manu Samhita, I'm not saying, according to Manu Samhita, your mother is a barren woman. Okay, what about your second statement that the king of the Pandya dynasty is the most pious king? Shri Yamunacharya said, yes, it is true that our king is very great, he is very upright, very righteous, very moral, very pious. However, in Manu Samhita it is said that the king receives 1/6 of the punya, pious credits of all the citizens. And the king also receives 1/6 of the sins of all the citizens in the kingdom. And as this is Kali Yuga, most people are sinful. And therefore, because our king is the recipient of 1/6 of the sins of the citizens, he is contaminated with sins, and therefore he cannot be called pious. And what about your third statement, Yamuna? Oh, yes, my third statement was that the queen is the most chaste lady. Well, according to Manu Samhita, it is said that the king is the representative of 8 demigods. There are 8 demigods who reside in the body of the king, empowering the king. And that is Indra, Chandra, Surya Dev, Varun Dev, Yamadev, Yamraj, and like that. There are 8 different demigods who live in the body of the king. So now tell me, because the king is the representative of all these demigods, Indra, Chandra, Surya, Varun, Vayu, Yam, Agni Dev, the queen has her husband as the king of the Pandya dynasty, and then has these 8 other husbands. So how can the queen be said to be chaste to the king when she has 8 other husbands? So this is all based on Manu Samhita. In this way, Yamunacharya defeated Kolahal in the debate, and he got half the kingdom of the king of Pandya dynasty, who was ruling from Madurai in South India. And then Yamunacharya became a very great king, and then he got distracted, and then he got came back to Krishna consciousness, and later on became the guru of Shripad Ramanujacharya. But that's a very fascinating, beautiful story. But we don't have time for that today. But the reason I told this story is we should understand our position in this world, how tiny, how infinitesimal we are, and we should never become proud and arrogant of our material assets. That is what this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us. This world is so big, we are so tiny, and there is nothing we can do without Paramatma, without Krishna. So we should always remain humble, understand that we are very insignificant. With the passage of time, all of us will be forgotten. But the devotional service that we perform, Krishna will never forget it. Krishna loves us, and Krishna remembers every act of devotion that we perform with this body that has been given to us temporarily. It's a lease, it's a leased vehicle. All these vehicles are leased. Therefore, we say when someone is a stroke patient or a heart attack patient, when they survive, they say, Doc, I got a new lease on life because it's a lease. So all our bodies are leased bodies. As long as we have this vehicle to use, we should use it in devotional service. And Krishna never forgets any tiny act of devotion that we perform. Neha vikramanashosti pratyavayona vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. He never forgets any act of devotion. So let us use this body in different acts of devotion. There are many ways we can perform devotional service. We can chant the names of Krishna. We can hear the pastimes of Krishna. We can glorify Krishna. We can read Srila Prabhupada's books. We can come in the association of devotees at the Bhakti Center. Now we are going to take darshan of Radha Murlidhar. All these are acts of devotion. So let us fill our life with different acts of devotion. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you very much, Adi Gadhahar Prabhu. Wonderful class. Dear devotees, it's your turn. Please share a reflection, ask a question. Please go ahead. Don't be shy. Jeffrey Eckler, followed by Temple Room.
Hare Krishna, Adi Gadhahar. Thank you for speaking on this topic. I put a question in the chat, and it's a topic that is related to this discussion of creation. I was wondering how Hiranyagarbha Brahma fits into this discussion of Mahavishnu and the creation of the universes.
How Hiranyagarbha Brahma fits into?
How does he fit into that discussion when you were talking about the Garbhodakshay Vishnu entering into the universe as the super soul?
Yes. So then all the ingredients are given to Brahmaji, all the material ingredients, and it is Lord Brahma who creates the 14 planetary systems and the 8.4 million species of life. So Lord Brahma is like the contractor, and Lord Krishna as the Paramatma supplies the bricks, the cement, the steel, and it is Lord Brahma, the expert engineer, contractor, who designs and gets everything built. Is that okay? Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Is there a difference between the understand or how we are to understand Hiranyagarbha Brahma versus Brahma? There is one and the same?
Yes, there's one Brahma.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. 3 Vishnus, but 1 Brahma. Okay.
Temple Room. Hare Krishna, Jiv Jago. Temple Room, please. Temple Room, followed by men.
Hare Krishna, can you hear us?
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Wonderful class. We have a comment from yesterday. I was a little hesitant to bring it up. There wasn't much time. You only left a couple minutes. But yesterday you made a wonderful comment about how the Acharya was taking shelter of a Mayavad ashram, and he became very dear to the guru there. He was rendering menial service. He was very respectful and affectionate, so the guru held him close. But then, what we were saying was it was nice that he went to a place that was not a Vaishnav community. And you said sometimes you might go to a Catholic church or some other kind of religious gathering, and you feel comfortable there. And you said you similarly, as he was in a harmonious relationship with this Shankaracharya preacher, that you felt comfortable with the Christian community. And that's good. But we also want to remember that when he heard the preceptor there speaking about Mayavad philosophy, minimizing the personality of Godhead, prominence of Krishna, that he began to weep. And his tears fell on the feet of the Guru. And the Guru said, what is the problem? And he said, I can't bear to hear what you're saying. And he said, so you can correct me? And so he began to explain about the personality of Godhead and that we are not equal to God. And the Guru was uncomfortable being criticized. And then eventually, even though at one point they had a harmonious relationship, they threw him out for preaching Krishna consciousness. And then they were going to kill him. So it's one thing to be respectful and affectionate toward people that are speaking something that's devious or less than perfect. But at one point, the line is drawn, and they don't want to hear it, So don't forget that part. That he got thrown out, and they tried to kill him for just speaking about how the Supreme Lord is, just like in what we're hearing today. If they heard what Adi Gadhahar said today, they would try to kill him. They don't want to hear that, So Yudhisthira was the friend to everyone, but they were not friendly to him. Of course, to show Prabhupada, here comes Brother Muralidhar.
Thank you. Adi Gadhahar Prabhu, wonderful class. Thank you. Dear devotees, turn on your cameras. We need a little more. Cameras on, please, if you can.
Shri Shri Radha Murida Gauda Chandra Sir Bhagavan ki Srila Prabhupada ki
Feet of our spiritual master, all the way, taste pure devotional service. By His grace, one to cross the ocean into suffering and entanglement of Krishna. My only strive my conscience, attachment to His lotus feet. He opens my dark eyes, He is my Lord, my birth, in the midst of accidents, by Him to be His Jesus and His God. I spiritual mercy, and the Lord Oh, Master, mercy, give us a share of your love's feet. Your hand is so we take shelter.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Adi Gadhahar Prabhu, do you have a few minutes to stay for the afterglow?
Yes, Prabhu.
Great, thank you. Min, go ahead.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Thank you so much for class. I have a question in relation to the beginning portion of your lecture. I was reading a portion of first canto yesterday, and I came upon a purport by Prabhupada that was very curious. It's from the chapter where Dhritarashtra is leaving home, and towards the end of that chapter, Narada Muni is speaking to Yudhisthira, and because Yudhisthira is disturbed by his uncle leaving without telling anyone, Narada Muni said, just, concentrate on God, Krishna, who doesn't, who's the who's the greatest, who's the supreme. And he speaks about this different energy of Krishna that's both within and without. And in the very beginning of that purport by Prabhupada, he says that something very curious that I never really thought about. So I wanted to ask how I should understand it. So in regards to Krishna's multitude of energy, this variegatedness of the Supreme, Prabhupada says that he manifests himself by different energies because he is by nature blissful. And I wasn't sure how to understand it. If you could please maybe explain how I can
Hare,
understand that. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Min. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And it is described in Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sad Chid Ananda Vigraha. Krishna's form is that of eternality, Sat. Our form keeps changing. Sometimes we are newborns, then we become toddlers, then we become young kids, elementary school, middle school, high school. Our body keeps changing and then we grow old and we die. But Krishna's body is eternal, that is Sat. We have to go to school to get knowledge. We have to learn things from our reading, hearing, experience, hypothesis, deduction. That's how we learn and grow. But Krishna knows everything past, present, and future. Vedaham samatitani, vartamanani cha arjuna, bhavishyami cha bhutani, mam tu vedana kaschana. Krishna knows past, present, and future. Krishna never forgets. Krishna is all cognizant, omniscient. That is called Chit. Sat, Chit. And the third nature of Krishna is Ananda. Ananda means blissful. So God by nature is eternal. God never has to worry about becoming sick or old or die. God is never in ignorance. God knows everything. He's fully conscious, fully aware of everything. And God is always blissful, always happy. God cannot experience sorrow just like the sun cannot experience darkness, or just like fire cannot experience cold. God cannot experience sorrow. God is always blissful. Sat, Chit, Anand. Ananda means blissful. Now, Krishna is always blissful. And Krishna being all powerful, he can appear and manifest through his different energies. Krishna can appear as fire, the sacrificial fire, and accept our offerings. Krishna can appear in the form of earth, Radha Murlidhar. They are made up of marble, but they are Radha and Krishna because their presence has been invoked by a pure devotee. So Krishna can appear as earth in the form of Radha Murlidhar, who are made up of marble. Krishna can appear as a fire in the fire sacrifice, Yajna. Krishna can appear as water, the water of Ganga, water of Yamuna, Charanamrit. That is not different from Krishna. Krishna can appear as a book, Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna can appear as sound, vibration, his own name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So earth, water, fire, air, ether, Krishna is appearing in all these multitudes of forms, and in each form, he remains God. It is not that if someone tears the book Srimad Bhagavatam, that Krishna is getting damaged or Krishna is getting affected, or somebody attacks the deity of Krishna in the temple and breaks the deity, that person has successfully broken Krishna. It doesn't happen because Krishna is always blissful. Krishna can never be broken. Krishna can never be desecrated. Krishna can never be destroyed. He appears through these different energies of his so that we, the devotees, can express our love to him, can worship him, can remember him, can glorify him. But no mortal can give pain to Krishna or destroy him because Krishna appears there answering the prayers of the devotees, and when the environment becomes unfavorable, Krishna will leave. But nobody can catch Krishna and defeat Krishna. That is the meaning of always blissful. Krishna appears through his different energies to reciprocate with the devotees who want to serve him, but that doesn't mean that Krishna has become a stone, or Krishna has become a fire that can be doused, or Krishna has become a water that can be spilled on the floor and trampled upon. Krishna always maintains his transcendental position, even though he may appear in these forms to accept the worship of his dear devotees. But Krishna is always situated in his position as the supreme enjoyer who is always blissful. This we should always know. Whatever upheavals are happening in this world, whatever turmoil, ups and downs are happening in this world, we should always know that Radha Murlidhar are always smiling, they are always blissful, and they are always enjoying in the spiritual world. That is the meaning that Krishna is always blissful, even though he appears through his multitudes of energy for our sake. Does that help, Min?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I think, in my mind, the variedness of God's energy was manifest through his power or his majesty. I just never thought that all his different energies come because he's by nature blissful. And I like how I think part of what you spoke kind of alludes to the fact that he comes that way in his bliss so that he could exchange his love with his devotees. So that's really nice. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
I'm looking at Pradyumna Das, and he looks blissful. Is that by nature or by training? Adi Gadhahar Prabhu.
Pradyumna Prabhu is by nature very blissful because he is a very sincere devotee. His bliss comes from his practice of devotional service. Pradyumna Prabhu has been in the movement since 1975. He he
Hare
came
Krishna.
to New Vrindavan in 1975.
All glory Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
That's why.
I've known him for so many years, Anand Bihari Prabhu, and I have never heard him criticize anybody. He's always blissful, always eager to chant, read, hear, and just a very blissful, happy devotee.
All
Pradyumna.
all glory to Vaishnava. Everybody's mercy. We do in bhakti, we need everybody's association. Thank you very much, Adi Gadadhar Prabhu. Really appreciate your kind help. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu.
Wow, that was so sweet. Such a sweet exchange. If you want to become like Pradyumna Prabhu, take shelter at Prabhupada's feet, chant, read, never criticize, come to class. Thank you, Pradyumna Prabhu, for blessing us.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Jai Radhe.
Jai.
Pradyumna Prabhu's good wife, his better half, Damodar Mata, she also perfectly complements Pradyumna Prabhu. She is just like that. And they have beautiful deities of Radha Damodar, who they worship every morning in their home very nicely. They live in
Beautiful.
Baltimore.
Hare Krishna.
Jai. All glories to Pradyumna Prabhu and his wife. What's your good wife's name?
Damodar Mata.
Damodar Mata. Wow. Pradyumna Prabhu and Damodar Mata ki jai.
Hey.
Hare Krishna.
Adi Gadhahar Prabhu ki
All
jai.
all glory to Vaishnava devotees. All glory to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, sweet. Okay. So we are now going to say Hare Krishna, and we're going to ask Pooja M to unmute herself and say Hare Krishna. Pooja M, please. Pooja. Hare Krishna. Last call for Pooja.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Now I can unmute.
Sweet. Thank you very much. Thank you. That was perfect, Pooja. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis and Vaishnavets ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Jeffrey, Prabhu, that's you.
Jai Srila
Vaishnavet is
Prabhupada.
you.